This is kind of like a walkthrough of like my career so far. I've been a director. I'm a VFX artist. A lot of my directing work has like VFX sort of like tied into it. I'm also a writer, and on top of that, I was a cinematographer for a very long time. A lot of the process that I've gone through as like a creative is like trying to wear many hats, because a lot of times, like as a filmmaker, you kind of have to will stuff into existence. And I think it's important to share this because I feel like sometimes we see people having success and we're like, it's like their first movie, and it's like, oh, they just got their first movie. And it's like, actually, they've been working in the industry for 10 years and they've been grinding this entire time and you just don't know about it. So I think it's important to like kind of see the reality of like at least my path and like kind of how I got to where I am. Like you guys are in a really interesting time now because there's like access to like pretty much any information you could ever want. And when I started, it was very much, there was some of that on the internet, but it was not as readily available. So I kind of had to like learn, on my own. So here's like a little picture of me as a youth with my first camera, and I was basically just like going around shooting like everything I could. I did not have a lot of people in my little hometown to like that wanted to make stuff. You guys are so lucky that you have like an acting studio here because there's like a film culture here. I did not have that. Like I remember I told one of my teachers, I was like, "Oh, I want to be a film director when I grow up," and they were like, "Well, what are you gonna do for a job?" And I was like, that's the job. Like that's what I want to do. What do you mean? And so a lot of stuff I was doing early on was experimenting with like live action, but also like with animation. This was like again like 15 years ago. I'm big into Halo at that time. I don't know if you guys like Halo. Yeah. The pacing is a little slow, as you can see. But like this was like the first time I had like put like 3D objects in a space. So then I kept kind of doing this, and I kept practicing and just kept making stuff. And I was at Auburn in like the radio, TV, and film program, and I was like, this just isn't like what I wanted it to be. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go do this for real. So I decided to go to Full Sail, and basically what Full Sail was for me was just like 2.5 years of just making stuff constantly. So after that, I graduated and I moved to Atlanta with not a dollar to my name. I was just shooting like everything I could. Like this was like someone else's short film. And I would just like shoot these short films. I would shoot these little like corporate videos, like it was like a little interview. And I would shoot these videos and I would edit them. And like sometimes I was directing them. And I was just like trying to get as many like little projects as I could. And eventually, after like a few years, I was getting opportunities to like shoot commercials, and I was like not directing, even though that's kind of still what I wanted to do. I was not getting paid to direct, but I was finally getting paid to like light and shoot commercial stuff, which was nice. I was pretty much investing all the money that I wasn't spending on my student loan debt. I was putting into my own projects, and I was like doing everything I could to like just make whatever I could. So then I moved to LA, and as you can see, it's Mass City. COVID was really tough. I'm not gonna lie. I moved to LA and I like knew nobody, and I spent a lot of time in my apartment with like my roommate that I found off Roomster or however I met him. But I had a few clients. Like one of my big clients was Delta that I was working with in Atlanta, and so they were like, it was nice because they were like flying me back, or like flying me like to airports to like shoot stuff for them. And then at the same time, because I was living in LA and things got very expensive, I went back to my roots to shooting things on green screen in my living room. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot some more stuff in my living room using my VFX like chops that I had kind of been developing this like whole time. And that led to what would sort of kind of be the like biggest thing that like happened in my career up to this point. So that project was done completely on spec. Like I was like, I want to make a thing. I really wanted to make like a short film in space, and I was like, I've been working on all my VFX stuff. Like the one thing that COVID afforded me was like time to just like get good at computer images. And then I submitted that to a couple like showcases, and this got accepted into a showcase at the DGA in New York. Honestly, this was after like 8 or 9 years of like grinding in the industry, like trying to like get anyone to watch anything that I made. This was the first time that like people actually paid attention to me. So after that project, I finally started meeting other people, and it was giving me like access to like one, bigger projects that actually had budgets, but also just other people to like collaborate with who were just like better than me at other things. And that was really nice because like I can't be good at everything. Like there's only a few things that I can be good at, and there are people who are better at me than other things, and that's great because you need to collaborate with people. And I was finally getting like the real director jobs, which was great. Like I was getting paid money to like direct things. And like here's like more photos of me on set, not holding a camera, which was big because like for a while when I was doing directing jobs, I was like also shooting. So I would be like a director cinematographer, like director editor, and there was jobs where I was finally just being a director, which was really nice. So one of the things I did with Echo Bend was this music video for this artist called Fosia. In music videos, an artist has like a rough idea of something, and then they want you to create a treatment, which is basically sort of like a pitch, like basically what I'm doing right now to you. They want you to create a treatment that like sort of is your take on their idea, and you have to create these documents that basically show like how you would direct it. And so what happens is like they'll send these out to like 50 to 100 directors, and everybody submits their treatments, and then they pick the one they like, and that's who gets awarded the project. So she wanted to be like a porcelain doll. So I had all these like takes of like her kind of like moving around in this like old Victorian space, and like as she's like you can see the mood is a very like kind of dark and sort of Tim Burton-y. And so like one of the things you do is like you kind of walk them through, like, you know, I'm not gonna read all this to you, but like I'm explaining like what the camera's doing and like some of the setups and like kind of how that would look. And I'm pulling a lot of like visual reference to like kind of give them a mood. And I basically just walk them through the whole video to kind of get to a place of like how it would look in the end. And so that's the first version I did. And then eventually we kind of ended up on this, where they wanted the tone to be a little more like kind of like this. And so I kind of moved it that way. And I kept the same idea that I had the entire time, which is like kind of how it opens. This is sort of a guide about how the VFX would look. And it's an iterative process to like get to here. Like, this is what I think it would look like. So this video did like 3.4 million on YouTube, which is pretty nice. I spent like 2 weeks doing a lot of this like VFX, but then I had kind of felt like that the VFX was kind of taken away from her performance. And she originally wanted the VFX, like she wanted like this cracking thing on her face, and like I'm the one who did it all. And I was actually thought it looked pretty good, but I was like, she was really proud of this video in general because like this was the first time that she had ever been able to like cry in a music video. And I honestly felt like really good for like being able to get her to that place. And so I was like telling her like, you know, this is like some of your best performance in a music video. Like, do you really want to cover it up with like this VFX? And so for the final video, we removed it, and like the rest of it, it's just her. Like it's just her singing. There's no VFX on it. It's funny because like as a director, like for my career, it looks better for me to have the like VFX version up, because like I had some people tell me like, oh, you know, this is kind of just like every other music video now. And I'm like, yeah, but like to her audience, like to her fans, like they're seeing her more vulnerable than they've ever seen her. And I think that's more important than like a flashy video. I was up to now. And I think that now we're like living in a world of vertical video. A lot of these jobs that I've been getting more recently are like these vertical jobs. I foresee a lot of like commercial stuff kind of moving in this direction. Smaller budgets, but like quicker projects. And I feel like as actors, like there's going to be some of these that you're going to be doing, I feel like, for sure. I've also been doing a lot more social media stuff. I think this one did like 3 million on Instagram. I mean, honestly, the reason I'm showing you this is because I think there was a time when I was like kind of turning my nose up to like social media type stuff. And I think the reality is like, this is where we're going, and finding ways to like express your creative ideas in a different format is like healthy, and it's okay. Like, it doesn't mean it's like going from doing big music videos to like posting Instagram reels like this feels like you're taking a step backwards. But you know, I reached a lot of people with that, and a lot of people thought it was really cool. And it's nice to like share your work and to try to figure out ways to like reach audiences. I think it's important to realize that like, one, learning a craft takes a very long time, and it's not like a linear thing. Like you have a lot of ups and downs, and like you kind of steer one direction for a little bit, and you don't really always know where you're going to end up. But I think it's important to like pace yourself and like realize that like everything you do, even if it seems like it's not like what you want to be doing, it's going to contribute to the next thing in some way. Like I didn't know that when I was doing this stuff, like where is it? This, like I had no idea that when I was doing these little things, like these little animations, that it was going to lead to this, which was going to be the way that I like got in as a director. If you do have aspirations outside of just acting, or even if it is just acting, like follow whatever is like fun for you. Like if there's ever a project that's like the project doesn't have a lot of budget and you know it might not look good on your acting reel, but like the script is cool and you like really connect with the material, like do those projects. It is way easier for me to like make stuff now and like come up with ideas. Like when I was younger, an idea was like coveted because I was like, oh, I have a great idea for this thing, I have to like hold on to it. And now it's like I have 60 great ideas like every day, and I'm like, so they don't matter as much because like you, that part of your brain that comes up with those ideas is something that you can train and like get better. Mm-hmm. It's like if you've played instruments, like you know you have to practice your instrument to get better. Acting is the exact same thing. Any creative craft is the exact same. I really tried to make things that were good in the beginning, and I really got upset because they weren't good. I'm like, I want this thing to be good, but I can't make good stuff because I don't know how yet. And so like a lot of times you're gonna do creative work and you're like I know I'm not there yet. Like it's not good. And I just want to make good stuff. And what I found is that like by putting in the repetitions, like you get better and better and better and better, and eventually like you start making stuff that like you're proud of.
What are you looking for from the director's perspective? Like what makes an easy working relationship on a commercial set with talent for you? Like what can they bring to the job that you're like, oh, that was a good one, that was not a hard one?
I would say obviously knowing the lines, like being off book is like duh, like that's standard. Being flexible in terms of like I said, sometimes clients are like, they just have ideas, and sometimes you just gotta roll with the ideas, and you're like, all right, we're changing everything, guys. Like, just be flexible. I kind of like when an actor like has some of their own takes on things, like going into it.
Like you want them to make big choices, take big swings.
Like something else you got loaded up. I personally don't like to have everything figured out because I think the whole point of collaborating is that like you get other things from people that you would never think of. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing on a film set is when someone has an idea that I never would have thought of. I'm like, yes. Making a choice is never a bad thing. And even if you might not be making the wrong choice, you just might not be making the choice that moment needs. And like, so like don't be afraid to like make a choice. Hopefully your collaborators will be able to like guide you and be like, we need to kind of go in this direction. It is a collaboration at the end. And like, there are some directors who they have it exactly how it's going to be in their head, and they'll probably tell you exactly how to say the line. I don't like to do that. I don't think it's the best way to do it, but some people do it. And there are some directors who are like, they have no vision, and they're like, let's just play and see what happens. And like, I'm also not like that. Like, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. But I also think as an actor, it's probably like, you're going to experience a range. And I think being able to kind of like read the director and be like, okay, how does this person work? I imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's better to focus as an actor like on the scene and not on the broader.
Yeah.
Whereas like as a director, I'm like, I know this is where you need to be in this scene because in this next scene, I'm going to need you to be here. So like if you're going too far here, we don't have any room to go in the next scene. And so it's my job to kind of manage the like emotional roller coaster of the like broader project. And so sometimes you're like, but I really feel like they would just be flying off the handle here. And it's like, I know what you're saying, but like if you fly off the handle here, then like because the next scene you're gonna like punch a hole in the wall. So like,
you have nowhere to go.
You have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people are like horizontal purists, and to be honest, I was like that for a little while. But I've realized that vertical is its own medium that like you could do good art in. I have no issues with like the format of vertical. If we're talking about like the vertical shorts, like from like a reel short and stuff, like those are designed. They're every 30 seconds there's some crazy twist, and you got to keep paying to like see the twist. Like that is the medium, is like the thing as a whole. I personally don't think that like doing a vertical is going to lead to like better work. But also if you're like, I can make money on these crappy verticals and then go make my passion project with the money I made from those verticals. Because I've done a lot of jobs that like I wasn't proud of the work because it's like crappy like corporate stuff. And it's like, but those things pay the bills. And it's like, you got to pay the bills. like not everything you use your artistic skills for is going to be a piece of art, and that's okay.